There is no shame in being a beginner. Every master you admire started by making a mess of their first few canvases. However, in the world of oil painting, there are certain telltale signs that spell the word amateur. These aren't necessarily because of lack of talent, but rather a lack of familiarity with the tricks of the trade. The good news is that once you recognize these signs, you can correct them almost instantly, giving your work an immediate sense of confidence. One of the quickest ways to spot a newcomer is the use of black paint straight from the tube. While it's tempting to reach out for ivory black when you see a shadow, tube black is often too cool for most things, especially skin tones. It tends to suck the light out of a painting and makes the shadows look out of place in terms of hue and saturation, at least all the shadows that are supposed to be on the warm side of the color wheel. To look like a pro, you want to start mixing your own chromatic blacks, using deep blue and dark browns like ultramarine blue and burnt umber. And also, if you want to experiment, don't hesitate to add deep organic pigments to your black. Try quinacridone rose and ivory black, for example, to create those very dark areas in the portrait, like the hole in the mouth, something like that. Or if you want to create some really cool effects in a landscape, you can also try phthalo green and black for incredible effects. It all depends on the situation, of course, but black can always be complemented. It will not look like much from the outside, like when you mix black with anything else. On its own, it doesn't look like much, but it is definitely felt in the undertones, and this will give your shadows depth and it will keep the entire place chromatically harmonized. A very common beginner mistake is treating objects like flat silhouettes rather than three-dimensional forms. New painters often paint a light side and a dark side, but completely ignore the transition zone or the halftones right in between the shadows and the lights. This results in a painting that feels like a collection of cutouts rather than a solid object existing in space. To fix this, you have to practice painting and drawing the turn of the form, what the bark plate instructions used to call in French la bosse de l'ombre, and understand here the bump of the shadow, that subtle area where the light begins to fade into the shadow. It's also called Terminator line, bedbug line. By paying attention to these transitions, and specifically this line separating the darks from the lights, the edges, the midtones, you give your subjects volume and weight. And that's what makes it stand out. While some painters ignore the transitions entirely, others go too far in the opposite direction. And this is more kind of the advanced beginner trap. There is a common misconception that a good oil painting should be as smooth and polished as possible, leading new painters to spend hours mushing the paint together until all the brushwork disappears. This is often referred to as overworking. It's basically starting to do the modeling before the values are actually properly in place. Not only does this result in muddy colors, dull colors, but it also strips the painting of all its character. Oil paint is a physical, it's almost a sculptural kind of painting medium. It wants to have texture, it's not like watercolor. So professional looking work often relies on broken strokes of color, placing two different strokes next to each other and letting the viewer's eye do the blending optically. So don't try to blend too much if you don't want to look like a beginner. Always ask yourself, what does this kind of blending here that I'm trying to do accomplish? And is it detrimental to the texture of the painting surface? The more you pet the paint, very often the more amateurish it looks. I often see beginners scrubbing a tiny bit of paint across a large area because they are afraid of wasting materials or making a mess. This leaves the canvas looking very starved and dry with, the texture of the fabric of the canvas poking through in a very unattractive way as it's been deprived of paint. it's so dry, it's so thirsty. One of the joys of oil painting is the impasto, or the richness of the buttery pigment. A confident painter loads the brush generously, and when you have a healthy amount of paint on your bristles, the paint flows smoothly and sits on top of the surface with a professional look. It just looks better. If your painting looks like a thirsty piece of cardboard, you probably aren't using enough paint. In the real world, objects, they don't have black outlines around them like in cartoons. They are defined by how their light and color differ from the objects behind them. So it's a transition in the objects in the volume on different planes. Beginners often outline the subjects to keep them safe, and it's okay to start with a drawing outline before you paint, but you have to understand that this outline is just temporary. Beginners often tend to want to keep this outline because it makes them feel safe, which flattens the image and makes it look too cartoonish. To really level up in this domain, you need to master lost and found edges. This is the technique where the edge of an object, say the shadow on the side of a face, is perfectly visually separated from the background behind it, but only optically without any line being visible. When you have a found edge, the difference between the two planes is clearly separated and clearly visible. When you have a lost edge, there is no real difference between the two, and the two shapes kind of merge into each other. This creates more a sense of atmosphere, roundness, and sometimes mystery and shadows that tells the viewers that you actually understand how light actually works. When a beginner wants to paint grass, they immediately reach for the brightest green in the kit. When they want to paint a sky, they reach for the most chromatic blue they can find. The result is a painting that feels too saturated with vivid tones. And when everything is vivid, then nothing is anymore. Professional artists know that 80% of a great painting is made of boring neutrals, grays, browns, muted reds, muted blues, muted yellows. And you can verify that very easily with a photo editing tool. Take any photo that you have and just use a color picking tool, and you'll see that not that much is really in the highest category of chroma, and most of the colors are very low in saturation. So by keeping the majority of your canvas relatively dull, your high saturation colors will actually pop and feel intentional, and it will show that you have control over your color harmony, that you have thought about it, and that the use of color in your paintings is intentional. Number 7, the turpentine soup. There is a specific lean look to a beginner's first layer when they use way too much solvent, making the paint runny, drippy like watercolor. While thinning your paint is definitely part of the process, and in the underpainting it's normal to do something very thin and use a lot of solvent, doing it excessively throughout the whole painting process makes the final result look very washed out and cheap. And I think that this is due to the fact that a lot of beginners insist on dipping their brush in a big jar of solvent in between strokes, like you would do for watercolor. But to be clear, you don't need to do that. Simply clean the excess paint on your brush with a rag. Starting thin with solvent is good for the underpainting stage, but you cannot keep this thin look for too long. And as you progress, you quickly want to move into using more medium or increase the amount of oil as you layer up. This will give the final surface a more sophisticated appearance, a more shiny look, and it will show a more sophisticated understanding of the medium's chemistry. There you go. I hope you like this little series of quick tips to easily paint with more confidence. If you want to keep building up and improve your skills with painting, you can check out this video next, and I'll see you for the next one. As always, my friends, joy and inspiration to you. Bye.